Hello, hello. This is Mark from Muddy River Clay. Today we're going to make a wall face, and I'm going to do it live without a lot of editing, so let's jump right into it. So wall faces are made of ceramic. They have a hole in the back to cut out on a wall, and we're going to walk through one pretty quickly here today. So you want to go ahead and start with a slab of clay, which I already have, and then you'll need something for the shape inside. I typically like newsprint, so you can use actual newspaper print, or I have some newsprint here. So let me crumple this up. And when you're thinking about the size, this is going to be the size of the actual head. So let me get some more paper there. And then the next step, once you've got the size and shape that you're looking for, is to roll your slab of clay around it. So it's that easy. I'm just going to go ahead and pull the extra off. And I'm going to use my hands as well as my tabletop to make this look like a face. Now, one of the reasons that I like faces so much is we all have different eyes, nose, mouths, and the shape of our heads are different as well. Typically, faces tend to have more of an oblong face. So as I'm rolling this out, I'm thinking about what I want it to look like. And I typically don't want it to be too round, although that's an option. I'm probably going to have it be more oblong. So I'm using the space in front of me to roll this out, to pull together the seams. And then I'm going to start thinking about the face. So I typically start with the nose, and that gives me the center of the face so that I know where to go from there. I'll then put on the eyes and then the mouth. And then from there, it depends on what you want to do with the face. In the example that I have here, I went ahead and put some movement in the hair, put a little extra item in her hair. Do I want this to be female, male? And a lot of times you can sit down and sketch out your pieces, but what I like about making faces is they kind of tell me what they want to look like, and that's when I have the most fun. All right, so the back side of my face is going to be more flat, and then the front is going to be a little bit more rounded. So once I have my face the way that I'd like it to look, then I can go ahead and start putting on the features. So I'm going to use some of this extra clay that I have from the slab. And I'm going to start just about the middle where I think the nose should go. I'll take a coil, and since this clay is right out of the bag, I'm not slipping and scoring it. That is a good rule of thumb, so I'm not stopping anyone from doing it. It's probably a best practice. In this example, I'm just going ahead and adhering it. So now I've got the base of the nose, and I'm going to start flattening that out to give it some shape. And now I want to make the nostrils. And again, everyone's got different nostrils. If you look up close, some people have flaring nostrils. Some people don't have a lot of collagen. Cartilage is the word in their nose, so it moves around a little bit there. So next I'm going to put the nostrils on. And then I'm going to go ahead and use a tool on the end to actually put the holes, but not all the way through. So I've got the two beads there. And then next I'll put another bead of clay. So another ball of clay, which I'll just mess with here, and then that will be the top of the nose. So now I can start working that together, and you can see that we are coming together with having a shape of our nose. The reason that I don't sketch these out, I've made literally thousands of faces over the years, and what I think is fun is, since this is a piece of art and it's not a real face, then you're not limited to what a real nose would look like or the placement of real eyes. So you can start to get a sense of traditionally where eyes and nose and mouths go, but you can also start having some creative freedom there. All right, next on to the eyes. And this is where you can have some fun. In the sample that I have, you can see they're spaced a little bit further and maybe offset just a little bit. Because my pieces tend to be whimsical, I do tend to offset the eyes. Typically, your eye is just about the width of your nose. So if you were to have an extra eye in between, it would be about the shape of your nose. But what you could do is you could space them apart a little bit. You could put one up higher or lower. It really just depends on what you're going for. So I'm going to squish mine in there just a little bit. And then the tool that's probably my favorite is the syringe that I got from some type of art store. And now I'm going to go ahead and use the back to start giving us the shape of the eye. And then I'll use the front of the syringe. You can see I've used that quite a bit for the actual pupil. Next, I'm going to go ahead, just because we have a short video here, because we're all busy people, I'm going to start making the eyelids. So I'm going to have a little bit of clay that we'll put around the top, and I'll start to work that in, and then a little bit of clay that we'll put on the bottom, and I'll start to work that in. So now our eyes and our face is coming together. This is also where you can start playing with expressions, right? So it seems that when eyes are closer together, then they can have a little bit of expression of anger or maybe surprise, and then further apart, it can be a little more whimsical. So let me go ahead and just work this in a little bit. And if you're newer to pottery, there's not really a right or wrong with how you make things come to life. I think one of the things that I've enjoyed about pottery over 20 years is that you go to class and you learn this is the right way and we only do this. And then when you're in your studio, you make a mistake or you start fidgeting with it and there's actually another way. So for example, I tend to use a brush with a little bit of water. If you're a new potter, be careful of that because you can actually have too much water and it can throw off the piece and it could really be a big deal. But if you need just a little bit of water to kind of make those eyes come together or to flatten out the nose, I think that's just fine. All right, so I want this to be a short video, so I'm going to do a little bit of cleanup off camera, but the purpose of this video is to give you an idea of how to make a nose, eyes, mouth, how to get the face to come together. So let's move on to the mouth. Mouth, I use another coil of clay, start to shape it just a little bit so that it looks like a mouth. And then same kind of questions. Do you want it high or low? Do you want to have different expressions there? It's great to have photos, maybe of a Pinterest board of beautiful art that you like to see. But the more you look at faces, the more you realize that there is no perfection in our faces. If you look in the mirror, one of your pupils is a little bit larger than the other. One of your eyes is going to be bigger than the other. And if you look really close, you'll see that there's less proportion to our actual faces than we'd hope. So what I'm doing now is I'm flattening out the lips just a little bit. And then I'm going to take a tool and just kind of make some impressions for the lips. And then I'll also give this little person a divot. So now I want to play with it a little bit, work in the clay. I like most of my pieces to be positive or upbeat. So I'm going to go ahead and put somewhat of a smile on this piece. And then next we need a bottom lip. So same, another coil. I'm going to go ahead and put that on and start working that in. And here we go. So now we're coming together. Now this person has personality. And so now I'm thinking, is this male, female? Does this person want hair? Does this person want a hat? Is there a bird on this being's head? There's just so many options that you can do. And that's where the fun comes in. So for our short video here, I'm going to move forward and put on some hair. And how I do that is I take the rest of my slab. I've got a piece of the slab here, and then I've got a tool or a roller that can give it some shape and some depth where it looks like hair. So now that I've got that, I can start ripping pieces of that off, and then that actually becomes this person's hair. So again, you can slip and score. My clay is right out of the bag, so I'm not going to do that, but I am going to make sure that it's worked in really well. So I start with the hair, and you can just see how that already completely changes the personality of this person. So I'll do some more hair, and then do they want to flip? Do they want long hair? And I kind of let the piece talk to me. Now, because there's different waves and lengths in this, the last thing that I like to do with the hair is to work it in. And so I'll use the same tool that I've been using in this video. So that was the hair there. Now we can start to work it in by expanding on the texture of the hair. And if you think about a hair, it's going to have a part And you're just kind of working that in there. And again, just doing it quickly for a short video today. And I'll clean this up a little bit more off camera. All right, so for our time together, I'm going to wind this down. The next thing, or the most important thing, I guess, is the back needs a hole so that it hangs on the wall. So on the back, I'm going to do two things. I have a stamp, Muddy River Clay is my brand there, so I'm going to put that in. And then I remember stressing out the first time I did this, and really it's just a triangle. So you want it to go just about the center where the nose is, and then I am just cutting out a triangle. I'm going to clean that up, make sure it's center with the nose, and then that's where it's going to hang on the wall on a nail or a screw. All right, so we took some paper, we wrapped some clay around it, we made it look like a face, we put in the nose, which was a coil and a couple of balls of clay. We put in the eye and some eyelids, we put in the face and some hair, and the rest of the creativity is up to you. Thanks for checking out my channel today. Please like and subscribe, and have a wonderful day. Thanks.